Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to your Division 2 Singapore Grand Prix, round 14 of this season. I am your host, the American voice of RSF1, Days Freak. Should have my co-commentator in shortly. See if I can invite him again. Heading into this Singapore Grand Prix, we have a possible title-deciding race here tonight between the Williams of Stygian, the Flying Dutchman, and Grunty in the AlphaTauri. The points difference between the two, let me find it, comms chat, is 53 points, I should say. It's 53 points right now. If Grunty, or if Stygian outscores Grunty by 7 points tonight, he will clinch the championship for this season. But if not, we will move our championship on to the streets of Azerbaijan in Baku. Probably my, if not my favorite, my second, maybe even third favorite track on this year's game. And we have a co-commentator. We have our co-commentator, I should say. Hello and welcome in, Jedi Gamer. How are you doing tonight, man? I've also had a bit of an issue with the recent patch to the game, which is definitely going to could cause some issues tonight. I certainly hope not. If it does, we might have to go off the results of the race before the final lap is even started. Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, it on the party overlay where I can see who's talking, I don't see you talking, but I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping the stream can also hear you. Guys, let me know in the chat if you can hear Jedi Gamer. If not, we will. Either he'll have to redo his
I'm talking just to see
Xbox
if
or
you can hear me
something.
or not.
Do it again.
Testing 1, 2, Jedi Gamer.
Yeah, we can hear you. I turned the volume up on my phone. I had to mute my mic though, make sure.
Okay, cool.
It relief, it confirms that we could hear you, so good stuff, good stuff. So, heading into this race, Jedi, we have a 53-point lead in the Drivers' Championship for the Williams of Stygian over Grunty. What do you think is going to happen here tonight for that?
Well, I'm going to be honest, following Stygian's form this entire season, he's just been really great in all the races. Grunty's had a couple of moments that's kind of cost him some points. I'm not saying that's going to happen with Grunty tonight, but as much as obviously we have a whole race to get through, but he needs
Certainly.
7 points, Stygian, and he's been
Well, he needs to outscore Grunty by 7.
Yeah.
If he only gets 7 and Grunty wins,
yeah, sorry, my mistake.
we go to Baku.
Yeah, my mistake. Well, Stygian's consistently been in the top 5, and Grunty's had some good performances this season, of course, but there has been a couple more
Especially to start
mistakes
the
from
season.
him. Absolutely, start of the season, Stygian was absolutely flying.
Oh, I
So-
mean Grunty. He won the first, what, 4 races, I think? No, first 3 races. Absolutely dominating
I can't
spot, winning the
remember anymore.
sprint and the
It's been
feature.
it's been surprisingly long, despite the fact it's a shorter season.
Yeah,
But
it really has.
I'll be honest. I think Stidgen's going to win it. Maybe not tonight, but I think he does. He is still going to win it.
Well, I talked to both of our championship protagonists in tonight's race, and both of these guys feel pretty good about the track, feel good about their setups, about their practice runs they've done before this race, so it really could come down to the wire on whether Stidgen can or cannot clinch the championship tonight. As our first man out of the pits is the Aston Martin of YT Ruley Ethan. Following him is the Red Bull of Crazy Fish, followed by Jangus Logan, Stidgen's teammate. And let's talk about the other Williams driver. We don't talk too much about Jangus Logan this season, but he hasn't won any races. I'm pretty sure he's only had one podium, but he has been very consistent in that P4 to 8 range. He's had a lot of just quiet, consistent, good races, and it's helped him and Stidgen take the lead in the Constructors' Championship, which I'm not 100% sure of, but I'm pretty sure Williams has the Constructors' Championship in Division 2. I could be wrong. If somebody knows in the chat, let me know.
Give me a minute.
Or let us know, because I am checking the standings, and currently,
Williams
yes,
currently have a
Williams
92
has
point
a
gap.
92 points. So they haven't quite clinched it yet, but
And funnily
they
enough,
probably could
their
if
fight
they-
with AlphaTauri, which is obviously where Grundy's in.
that it is.
So Grunty and Stidgen are fighting drivers and teams.
That they are. Coming through the final corner now, Ruley Ethan's going to start his hot lap. We will ride on board for this lap. Opens up the DRS, heading down the pit straight. Down to the turn 1, 2, and 3 complex. Through turn 2, turn 3 now. Second gear on the exit. I don't know who that is. I'm hoping that's not a random driver.
Oh, no,
Now
AMS,
into
get
turn
out of
4.
here. No.
It's fourth gear through there. Now heading down Raffles Boulevard.
I'm sorry,
believe that's
if
what
he
this
has
is called.
AMS in his tag, get him out now. They are
Yeah,
not
I
to be
can't. I
trusted.
have no choice to get. I have
Oh,
no.
God.
There's 2 AMS drivers in here now. This could be very, very bad. Oh boy, this is
I
gonna
have
be fun.
plenty of experience with AMS for various leagues. I think all but one of them have proven to be rather
To the Singapore
untrustworthy
sling.
on track. The
Well,
one
that's
who
not a good
is
omen.
trustworthy, funny enough, is a friend of mine. Go figure. But
Out of the hairpin, down the third of 3 DRS straights. 6-0 through the first 2 sectors.
getting
Now through
more
the
people
third
joining. I'm going to see if I can
sector.
get them out here. I'll try and message them.
Let's hope you can. It looks like the Red Bull getting out of the way of Ruley Ethan as he's coming through
That's 2.
underneath the stands now. Coming through the final kind of chicane through here. Through the final corner. Ruley Ethan is coming across the line, opens the DRS, and it's going to be a 39.9 for the Aston Martin. Got Crazy Fish, I believe is the next driver to put up a lap. Through the first 2 sectors for Crazy Fish, it's a 105.0. He's a full second ahead of Ruley Ethan right now. We've got one of the randoms has picked a car, which means we might have to restart this session. If that's, yeah, we're definitely going to have to restart the session now. I don't know why there's random drivers joining,
I am
random people
actually
joining,
trying to
but
message them now. I don't think it's really working.
I don't think it's going to matter. Jangus Logan across the line. I didn't realize he was ahead of Crazy Fish. He puts up a 139.8. It's P1 provisionally, but it's Crazy Fish who smacks that time out of the park. It's a 38.2. About 1.6 second, over 1.6 seconds ahead of Jangus Logan. Needy chicken across the line. It's a 39.1.
I think we're going to have to restart the lobby and make it like an invite only or something. Because we're just getting a bunch of
That's
joining
exactly
now.
what we're gonna have to do. We're getting random people joining, and I don't know. And Grunty has signaled for the official Division 2 restart of the lobby. Oh, and guys, do not pick to do a lap out on the mediums. It messes with the game, and we've got Droom Zero Boots and AMS Ronin. I don't know who these two are, but I am personally going to block them so they don't try to join off of me.
So I currently have the AI of Fernando Alonso driving a red and Charles Leclerc in the Mercedes in the garage.
Interesting.
We've got my team joined. We're suddenly in a
And I've
F1
disconnected
my
from the
team
lobby,
section.
but that's cool with me because
Oh right, okay.
I was trying to block the two, but I accidentally clicked on their profile, and I'm like, nope, not what I meant to do. And then I got kicked out, and I'm like, okay, that works too. Alright, so we're going to wait for... Okay, well,
Well, thank you for bringing that up, Blocker, and don't know who the other guy is. Danke for alles. Oh, it's you.
yeah, that's me. My name is basically thank you for everything, Sebastian Vettel. Although I don't
Naturally.
think I had enough characters to put in Vettel, I just put in Sebastian. Alright, hopefully one of these guys can send me and you an invite.
Well, we're both sporting fitting tributes then, because my Discord picture is Seb's logo, the SV5.
Yeah, mine's a picture of Seb after he won his 4th championship.
Hmm.
If I can find it, because everyone is talking quite a bit now. Most of Div 2, of course, reasonably upset with the situation. Frankly, I'm not exactly very pleased either. The only reason I didn't pick that picture, your picture, to be mine for Discord is because I, frankly, despise Aston Martin and what they've done to Seb over the last 2 seasons.
Oh, I actually agree, to be fair. Like, they've really kind of just screwed him over, but the problem with me is, as a child, I grew up with the Bond films, and the Aston Martins they had were so cool. I was like, oh my god, those Aston Martins are the coolest cars ever. And like little 9-year-old me was like, you know what would be cool? If Spiker could have an F1 team, why can't Aston Martin? And then of course 2021 rolled around,
Yeah,
and
I can
there we
agree with
go.
that sentiment, honestly. I thought the same thing, but as an American, I usually thought of, like, if Manor and, like, if teams like Manor and Caterham can exist, why can't we have a Ford team? Why can't we have Porsche, Audi? And I know Porsche and Audi
Right?
are not American, but like literally anything other than Caterham and Manor.
Yeah.
That 2016 Manor was, or was it 17? 2016 or 17 Manor was just absolutely dreadful. It was like 4 seconds off the pace, but for some
Well,
reason
I
it was
can tell
also
you
the
it's
fastest car
definitely
in a straight line.
16, considering that was their last season.
16, I thought
Yeah.
so. They even had Ocon show up for them in that car to replace Rio Haryanto.
You know what's really weird? Whenever I watch a 2018 re-race, like the Brazilian 2018 race was on Today TV, right? I see the abbreviation HAR. Now, of course, that means Brendan Hartley for Toro Rosso, but I don't know why. Rio Haryanto is always the first name that goes into my head. Whenever I see Har.
Well, I mean, kind of same. I mean, it really also depends. I have sent you an invite.
Yep, on my way. And when I say about Aston Martin joining F1, it would have been a lot better for them, I believe, in the 2000s. Obviously, it's a lot cheaper, and I believe they could have had a much more
Who's
competitive
inviting
car.
Boots? Who just invited this guy? It's one of the randoms again. Someone in the lobby is inviting this guy. I don't know who's inviting him, but somebody invited him.
I don't see one.
We had the same issue in like the beginning of the season in Div 5. We had like two randoms, or like 2 or 3 randoms join, and we ended up kicking out 2 people out of the league because of it.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, just while we're waiting, just an interesting thing you brought up catering. Why is it that all the green cars in Formula One are destined to be rubbish? Like since my lifetime, at least since the 2000s, Jaguar, Lotus, Caterham, Aston Martin, all manufacturers, of course, as well, and they've been damn near useless in F1. Sure, Aston Martin got that
Well, to be
podium.
fair, Lotus was good, but that was when they did have the green livery.
Oh yeah. Lotus were only good when they were black and gold, but
yeah, and when they had Kimi, of course.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Me and Grosjean, that was an amazing duo. Back when Grosjean was like an actually good driver. Yes. That should be everybody. Unless Slither and me decides to join back.
Also, Southern wasn't racing, no? Or am
I? Okay, so Slinky just asked in the chat if Quirky Turtle was in our league, and I'm like, well, yeah, he's like, what, 4th in the championship, I think, right now?
Yeah. Has he not been paying attention to his own division?
He's still a bit new. I'll cut him some slack, but it's definitely like a strange question. It's just like, I think Slinky's like, I think this is like Slinky's like 5th race in this division, so he's still kind of new. I get it.
Sorry. We've had Slinky.
I looked at some of the old streams from last season, and like half the drivers in that division I forgot were even in that division. I'm like, holy, what? Or we're even in the league. Like Evil Penguin, I thought he was a brand new guy in the off season that we picked up, and turns out he was actually in Div 5 for like a race or 2.
Well, yeah, Quirky is supposed to be here and is indeed driving the Mercedes, but you said Slytherin was joining. I wasn't aware Slytherin was actually going to be here.
Slytherin, he was here the first time. He left after that.
Okay. Right. So what was this you were bringing up about setting a lap on the mediums?
So, I saw a video of there being this glitch where a lot of people were getting disqualified from races because they didn't pit, quote unquote, didn't pit onto a required compound when, of course, they already had.
Okay.
And they'd get disqualified literally at the end of the penultimate lap. This guy even pit in like a career. He was
Oh,
doing a
I've
career
seen
mode
this going
race.
around like career mode all the time,
Yep. Yeah.
and you get like what was it,
And I
Latifi
was like,
winning
okay,
some
well, is
stuff.
it just a career mode, or is it like the whole game? And then he showed a clip of him doing an online race against other people, and the same thing happened. And I'm like,
Right.
oh boy, that could cause problems.
And that's because he set a
So
qualifying lap on the mediums, is it?
I think Muddy, I think it was, said that it was because of that. I'm like, is it
It's
really
interesting this
because of
glitch has
that?
appeared
That's
once they've added the choice of tires back.
well, it's because anything that has EA involved with it,
I swear
anytime
down, we just go
something
one
gets
step
fixed,
forward, two
something else
steps
gets
back.
broken. No, it's half a step forward, 2 light years backwards. Especially if you're
Yeah,
talking an
that's
EA game.
that's
Before EA, when it was just Codemasters, this game would always take at least a step forward.
well, interestingly, we've got both AlphaTauris, Cornish and Grunty, Stygian, our championship leader, Quirky Turtle in the
We got
Mercedes, and the Red Bull of Slinky Maliki, all on the mediums. So this might not end well, from what I'm hearing.
yeah. I'm hoping that the glitch doesn't affect us completely like that. Oh boy.
This will be up there with Michael Massey if championships get decided by this.
Yeah, definitely don't want that to be the case. I cannot change my camera angle. It's not. There we go. There we go. RB button
There we
was
go.
not working for a good second there. So Ruli Ethan, once again, the first man out of the pits. It seems like this time people are far more eager to get out of the garage and onto the track to set a lap. A lot of people setting times on the medium tire. I'm not sure why you would even do that to begin with. You only get 2 sets of mediums for the race. So,
Yeah, sure, you'd want to save the mediums because they are the preferred race tire.
not to mention how many people you see crash out of this race or get a wing damage, and then their race is pretty much over because their medium tires are the one set of mediums they had has already been used.
Exactly, yeah.
As we are riding along with Ethan and through turns 1 and 2 and 3. Second gear on the exit of turn 3. Turn 4, which is just that little kink right after it. Now turn 5 down to third gear here. And up the boulevard opens up the DRS, and now it's flat out through the whole way up to here until you hit turn 7 and he just gets through turn 6. It's a 27.8 through the first sector, down to third gear for turn 6. Now here for turn 7, it's second gear here. I think I saw a bit of a lockup for the Aston Martin. Turn 8, it's third gear. Maybe that was turn 9. I'm pretty sure that was turn 8. But now through the Singapore sling, I remember when this was a chicane. Very, very tight, awkward part of the track. It's definitely hard to get right. Or get perfect, I should say.
Yeah.
Once again, my broadcast angle is not working. There we go. It's a 107.1 through the first 2 sectors. Almost over a second slower than what he did the first
backed
time.
out.
And yeah, he definitely backed out there. He didn't even accelerate out of that corner there. He's good. So we move to Crazy Fish, a 105.0 through the first 2 sectors. Coming through the final sector now, it's very tight, almost as narrow as Monaco here. Almost clips the wall there. Perfect line though, for sure. Riding the curbs pretty heavily through here. Now heading to the final 2 corners. Lets off the gas, downshifts, and back on the gas, and it's a 38.2, excuse me, through the first lap for the Red Bull of Crazy Fish, a 40.3 for Stygian, a 40.4 for Grunty.
Oh, we've got a Williams
These two getting very
sponge for
close,
the
and
pit
now
entry.
No,
That is
that's
Genghis.
Oh, you mean this guy over here? Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Stygian. I was like, no, they just stopped trying to let people through.
Just briefly on board there
Unfortunately,
with
the spin.
Grunty. Or is it? No, it's Corner, sorry.
The spin's going to put Genghis at a 53.8. 53.2 for Cornish. 44.8 for Willem. 40.4 for Stygian. 40.3 for Stygian. Or 40.4 for Grunty. I think I said Stygian twice there. Stitch in P3 with a 40.3 and a 39.1 for Needy Chicken. 9/10 off of Crazy Fish. Locker's already invalidated his lap, so might not be able to put up another lap here. Slinky Maliki, 114.4 through the first two sectors. Doesn't look like he's putting up much of a good time here. Perhaps he's just trying to put up a lap time. No, maybe not. Oh, perhaps he's letting Mr. Oddbot through as he's coming through the final two corners now. Cross the line, it's a 39.6 for the Mercedes, putting him P3. Slinky Maliki, a 57.8. Definitely just trying to put up any kind of a lap time. We move on to Quirky Turtle, coming through the final sector now. Heading into the penultimate and final corners for this lap. About 60% on the throttle through the corners, and it's a 46.3 for the Mercedes. It's P7. ACQ invalidating his lap, so he will not be able to put up a lap time here. He should be able to put up a lap time when he crosses the line. He's got the ERS on. And through the final two corners, he will start his lap. It's a 55.8 without the invalidation. And
Interesting
Walker
though
seems
that
like
Ethan
he's-
went
oh,
for an
no, it's
outlap on the
Mexican. Carry
softs,
on.
but he's come out now again on the mediums.
Who?
Ethan.
Ethan. Oh, okay. Perhaps he's just trying to just trying to get some track time on. Trying to get some track time. As Cornish and Willem have already retired from the session. Ditto Stygian.
Pretty confident.
27.5 through the first sector for Macy Q.
I say you're pretty confident of getting through. Then we've only got 15. We're already technically Q2 ready. So yeah, they could
27.5
literally
for
go
Blocker.
around at 2 miles an hour, set a lap, and they'd be fine. Of course, it would take the entire session, as we don't really want that, but you know. As Horizon appears to be proving my point, he's barely moving.
Yeah. We have yet to hear whether there's a minimum time requirement for the lap, so I mean, right now it seems like to your own discretion, put up a lap time, don't hold anybody up, and just
Is that
do whatever you want to do.
Sorry, minimum lap time?
Well, I know at some tracks we've had the admins tell us that there's a minimum lap time you need to have to put up a valid lap, or else you have to go out again. I know last season the lap time here was 2 minutes.
Okay, I actually
Slinky
didn't know
Maliki
that.
coming pretty close. And Macy Q invalidating his lap, so he will go into the pits. And while Mega Centurion across the line, it's a 48.6, and for Locker across the line, it's a 41.0.
Would that have
That's
to be in the
after
rule
3
book at
laps
all?
on
'Cause
those
I
softs.
don't remember seeing that. I will probably have to go reread that. And that's possibly
I don't know if it's in the rule.
that might be a bit of
I
a
didn't
shining a
see
bad
it
light
there,
on
but-
me that I didn't know that. But I don't remember seeing that in the rule book. I did read the rules, Muddy Biscuit. I did. Don't worry.
Well,
Horizon
I joined
has
the league in
invalidated his lap.
January, so I can hardly remember the minor details. I just remember the main things, like don't go full speed into the rear end of a car
Well, that's just
in
common
like a
sense.
heavy braking zone, or the common sense rules.
Yeah.
I don't really know like the minor things, like hey, don't do whatever on certain days, or We go over to Horizon. He's invalidated his lap, so he's going to put up another one here.
Oh,
He's not even putting in on the ERS. He's just half throttle.
So his time would have been a 154. If there is a minimum 2-minute lap, obviously he would have been safe for that.
Well, we're not sure if, again, Slinky, I'm not 100% sure if the mediums are bugged. They might be, they might not be. Hopefully this race they won't be. But I cannot make any personal promises. They very well could be, is all I can tell you.
If we get to the penultimate lap and you see people getting disqualified from the race, then I think we'll know. Savvy?
If the penultimate lap starts and people are getting those messages, we're
Yes,
gonna have to
fair.
just call the race off before the final lap even starts. Just gonna have to call it a lap short, which is definitely not gonna be great, but will be necessary, unfortunately, if that happens. Okay, let me look at some
Does Ethan
people in
realize he
the
has to? Does Ethan have to set a timed lap because he's currently sitting in the
people.
pits with
Everyone
nothing?
has to set a timed lap, even it doesn't matter the situation, unless you're on a qualifying ban. Because I'm not 100% sure if any of these guys are or not.
I don't recall. If he is on a qualifying ban, then he's going to get another one because he's actually come out on track. So I'm going to assume, based on the fact that he was on track, that he didn't. Meanwhile, we've got Macy
Macy Q is
Q.
still on his out lap, I'm pretty sure.
It's on a flyer as
Horizon,
far as I... And it might have been that thing you keep saying to me where he's on an
yeah,
outlap but
where
then
it
just disappears on the
doesn't tell
graphic.
you he's on an out lap anymore because he's entered the final sector of his out
Yeah.
lap. It's annoying to say,
Stupid system.
at least.
They not
It
just
doesn't.
say
I don't
he's
understand
on his
it.
out lap, when he crosses the line, he's now on his flying lap. That's when the thing should disappear.
Yeah, and looks like across the line, Horizon is going to put up a 2-minute and 5.088 second lap.
Oh.
What does the bug actually do? Okay, so I watched the video that was sent to us in the members lounge of the server, of the Discord server, that the guy was doing a race. To start the penultimate lap, he'd get a radio message and a HUD message on the top of his screen saying, if you don't pit by the end of this lap for another set of mediums or hards, you're going to be disqualified. So the guy would pit, and then he'd come out, and as soon as he'd leave the pit lane, it would disqualify him, and it disqualified all of the AI. Then he did it in a league race, or maybe just a random 50% lobby, and the whole field got disqualified again. So again, I'm not 100% sure on whether or not that's going to happen tonight. I'm hoping not, but knowing EA Games, it's probably going to happen anyway. And Macy Q has once again invalidated a lap. I'm not sure exactly the strategy here. If you're having constant invalidations, I feel like you might just want to start taking it a little easier. Not to mention, it doesn't matter what lap time you put up. You're making it to Q2. I would just go like 80% at most. Make sure I don't crash, but also make sure I don't invalidate. Well, I don't think Macy Q is going half speed. I mean, from what I'm seeing, every time I go over to him, he's going roughly full throttle, or at least as fast as he can go. Horizon is invalidated now. I assume he's satisfied, though. He's put up a lap time that he needs to put up. He's going even slower on this lap than previous laps. The last second, Horizon chooses to go into the pits. What is that bug even? Classic EA. Yeah. Try being a former Madden gamer like myself. Trust me. After a while, you start to realize EA cares literally not at all about their players. They really do not.
I might not have played Madden, but I can say from experience of Star Wars games.
Oh yeah, Battlefront 1 and 2 also same deal.
Well, here's
NBA Live, I don't play that, but I know for a fact it's going to be the same way.
Well,
NBA
Battlefront
2K
2
Supremacy.
started bad, but they reworked it, and I think genuinely they made it a good game. I still to this day enjoy it, but then they decided, out of literally nowhere, just to pull the plug on support.
Yeah.
Shifted everything over to Battlefield 2042, and, well, we saw how that ended, so it's a bit of a lose-lose situation for everyone.
Horizon has now ended his session, pulling into the pits. Macy Q has put up a 40.5. It's P6 for the Haas. It's a 41.7 for the Aston Martin of Rulli Ethan. We've now got... Oh, that's why he's run out of fuel. So good to know that he's at least put in enough fuel in the car to do 4 laps. Or 3, really, but yeah.
I know I brought up the rather lackluster performances of the green cars, but one thing they all had in common, their liveries looked great, especially in the nighttime lights.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, Jaguar never got that honor. Of course, after
Oh, this
2004,
Jaguar became
but Red Bull,
Red Bull.
yes. But Lotus, Caterham, and Aston Martin, as we can see on screen, if we're looking at Ethan, I assume you are, but I don't know.
Oh, I
all
am.
look,
I've just
yeah,
been watching him go half speed throughout the
they all
track.
look great in the night.
Certainly do. So one thing I loved about watching the Singapore Grand Prix this year is watching Seb's car and
Beautiful.
just seeing the absolute beautiful look of the car. It just looked amazing.
The Alpine at
Another thing that
Qatar
the
as well,
recent...
the blue looked beautiful.
Oh, yeah. And as I was going to say, what was it? Oh. Nope, I forgot it. Oof.
I've just realised something, actually. There's no Alpines here. I've just brought that up. Oh, was it Slytherin I gave the Alpine to, was it? Hang on, I should know this.
Alright, one moment as I take a momentary break.
Yeah, so Slytherin me was going to be in the Alpine, but of course he has not decided to rejoin for the lobby restart, hence why we do not have the blue and pink. Although that's maybe a good thing, because for some reason, the glitch or whatever it is that was making the Red Bull look grey before the livery patch has now affected the Alpine, so that the beautiful shade of blue now appears to be mucked up. So as we end Q1, we have Crazy Fish at the top, Needy Chicken, Oddbod, Stygian, and Grunty running out the top 5. And of course, we've all got through because we already have the 15. So we shall move
Following
swiftly
your top
along.
5, we've got Macy Q in the Haas, Locker, Ruley Ethan, Willem Vershoor, Quirky Turtle, Mega Centurion, Cornish, Jangus Logan, Slinky Maliki, and RSF1 Horizon with the fastest lap I've ever seen in my life. Absolutely insane. Move him up to Div 0. Just put him in his new division.
Well, I'm hoping we don't see 10 disqualifications by the end of the race.
I'm certainly hoping so too.
Yes.
That video, I'm not going to lie, has gotten me shook. And hopefully they fix that. If that is an issue tonight, hopefully they fix that before tomorrow's race, because I will be in absolute shambles if not. Still seems like we've got a perfectly dry track out here. No rain, but quite a bit of cloud cover.
That might just be the light haze.
It could be that, yes. Of course, once they get out on track, we can hardly tell if there is cloud cover or not.
Well, mind you can't really see clouds in the dark, can you?
Unless you look straight up.
Well, true, but... And again, like I say, the street lights obviously kind of mask it a bit.
Yeah, that they do. Really, Ethan, the first man out of the pits. Following him is the Red Bull of Crazy Fish. These two having a bit of a race off pit road, trying to see who can get out first. Following him is the Red Bull of Slinky Maliki, followed by Macy Q in the Haas. It looks like both the Williams, yes, Stygian and Jangus Logan coming out. Followed by Grunty, who egregiously crosses the pit line. get a warning for that. Don't want to do that in the race either. Very tight pit road. You got to be very conservative on the exit. RSF1 locker. Now Needy chicken out on his lap. Still got a few more guys that have yet to come out. Mecha Centurion, Quirky Turtle, Mr. Oddbod, Horizon, Willem Verschoor, and Cornish. Will be the next man to come out between those guys. We will find out momentarily as we move back to Ruli Ethan, who's now in the third sector of his outlap. Hey man, no problem. Clearly showed you are the class of the field already with that 205. Really Ethan coming out of the final chicane now into the final two corners. Going pretty aggressive and keeps it stuck to the track, so that's good news there. Down to fifth gear here. Second gear through turn 3. A little wide on exit. Keeps it valid though. We've got a yellow in sector 3. It's either for Grunty or Locker. I'm not sure which. Seems like the issue has sorted itself out as we head down the boulevard now with Ruli Ethan. The end of sector 1 is a 27.5. Ooh, real wide on the exit of the corner there. I have to pull up the track map so I can remember which corners are which, because I've got a good idea, but really Ethan coming through Singapore, slinging now through the hairpin and down the other long straight, the third of 3 DRS straights here at Singapore. It's a 105.9 through the first 2 sectors, much better than previously put up, but he runs very wide. It does not invalidate. I'm actually shocked. Oh yeah, gets very aggressive on the corner there though, and I knew that was coming from a mile away. We move on to Crazy Fish at 105.2 through the first 2 sectors. Riding the curbs nice and easy there though. No oversteer. Very early turn in through there. Done a very good job. Let's see what Crazy Fish can put up as he's coming through the final 4 corners now. 2 corners left between him and the finish of this lap. Now to 5th gear, immediately back up to 6th, full throttle. It's a 38.5 for the Red Bull of Crazy Fish. Slinky Maliki, his teammate, he's coming through the final corners now. What can he do? It's a 40.5. Macy Q with 38.7. Nope. I don't. Genghis Logan with a 38.8, and I don't think Stygian put up a valid time. Grunty across the line with a 38.0. Almost half a second between him and Crazy Fish now. Locker across the line with a 40.4. It's P5 for the Alfa Romeo.
Stygian may have invalidated this and next lap because he's still got the red track map.
Oh boy, he may have. Needy Chicken just barely beats out his teammate for P3. It's a 38.712. It's 45 thousandths of a second separating the.
He did, yeah. I've just gone to
Row
race
2.
director. It is a this and next lap invalid for Stygian.
Oof. Definitely not the kind of invalidation you want. It's a very high tire wear track. He may have run wide through the final corner. That might have been what it was. I mean, either that or he attacked the corner hard and cut the corner where the pit entry is.
Yeah, it's the last corner is the only one I
possible.
can think of that you get a next lap as well. But it's either you go too far to the left or too far to the right.
You go too far to the left, you're very liable to spin.
Yeah.
Go too far to the right, well, that might not be good for your front tires. Might be an indication on whether or not he's running a higher or lower downforce setup, and I have to assume everyone here is going to be running a pretty high downforce setup. I don't think there's going to be a lot of straight line speed for anyone at this track, but of course I could be wrong on that. We're looking at Stygian now. He's in second gear. He's just burning fuel. He may have put in extra fuel in the car. And I got to tell you, before I got to this league, I don't think I saw very many people at all burning fuel like this. And ever since I've come in, and you see people doing this left, right, and center. Of course, I could be wrong. Maybe more people did it and just streamers didn't show it.
Not something I've seen too often, I'll have to admit. Although I don't think I've done commentary since F1 2020.
My first time I actually did commentary was last year's game in one of my old leagues. To be exact, it was at the Canadian Grand Prix. Was my first commentary appearance. My RB button is still just not wanting to work with me.
I remember just randomly, our last race, everyone ran either a yellow or a pink helmet. It's like a sort of a say goodbye to Racing Point and Renault. Just a random little touch we had. Don't really know why.
Oh, I did the opposite. One of my leagues did that too, and I actually wore a blue and green helmet to welcome in Alpine and Aston Martin.
True, but of course you would welcome them, but yeah.
And Mega Centurion puts up a 37.8.
Nice.
Over a 10.5 separate him and Grunty for pole right now.
Oh, look right there. So I was on board with Quirky Turtle, and the outlap stayed until he started the flying lap.
Until he started the final sector, you mean?
No. I was on board with him. It was on outlap.
Oh, it did? Oh, okay, good. No, you're talking about him. I thought it was Oddbod was.
No.
I thought Oddbod and Quirky
were for him, but
swap spots.
Quirky had it.
Oh,
until he crossed the line.
Speaking of Mr. Oddbod, he puts up P3. It's a 38.1.
Yeah.
About 0.3 off pole, but definitely not a bad time for a driver we haven't seen much of at all this season. I know he's pretty new, but I don't think he's had a race yet in this season.
I'm pretty sure he joined this weekend, actually.
Horizon getting out of his way. He did now. Okay, yeah. Because I know Mr. Oddbod from another league. I can't remember which one. I think he's in BRL, but I can't remember if that's the one or not. Mr. Oddbod, let me know if you're watching. If you are in BRL, let me know. If you're not in BRL, tell me what other leagues you're in so I can get that proper. On board with Ruley Ethan once again. He's starting his hot lap. Heading down to turn 1. It's 5th gear through here. Riding the curb pretty heavy through turn 2. It's 3rd gear out of turn 3. Through turn 4.
Here comes Quirky Turtle. Gonna be a 138.6 and goes
5th
P6.
gear for turn 5. Down turn 5, heading into turn 6 onto the bridge. Heading into Memorial Corner here in turn 7. It's 4th gear through here. Now through Stamford. It's 3rd gear through Stamford. Now Padang. It's 3rd gear through Padang. Now turn 10 for the Singapore Sling. It's 4th gear for him. Keeps it down brings it down to 2nd gear for turn 11. Turn 12. Into the hairpin for turn 13. He had to correct the steering a little bit. That's definitely going to cost him at least 0.2 down this straight. Into Connaught. It's 3rd gear. It's a 106.0 for the Aston Martin through the first 2 sectors. Turn 15 immediately followed by turn 16. Mega Centurion's retired from the session in the pits. And he's invalidated. And he clipped the wall. I don't know if that's going to be wing damage. Doesn't look like it here, but coming through Bay now. He might not be able to put up another lap here. He might have to immediately come in and do another lap, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Unfortunate end to the lap for the Aston Martin of Ruley Ethan. We move to Horizon, who's got a 27.1 through the first sector, putting up an absolutely blazing first sector. Out of Padang now, heading into the Singapore Sling. It's 4th gear for the McLaren driver. Turn 11, it's 3rd. The hairpin of turn 13 also has to correct, not as much as the Aston did though. Opens the DRS heading down this straight now. The end of the first 2 sectors, it's a 105.5, so he may have dropped it in the middle sector. Turns 15 and followed immediately by turn 16. Followed by 17 Esplanade. Now through Bay underneath the grandstand. Grunty retires from the session as well. He's satisfied with his time. It's P2 for the AlphaTauri driver. Now through the final 2 corners. Right in the outside curb there. It's a 38.9. It's P10. He knocks his teammate out of the top 10.
I'm not necessarily sure Horizon's going to be safe with that.
He certainly won't be. As Stygian has yet to put up a time, so you know Stygian's going to be putting up a time here. It's a 27.1 for the Williams driver through the first sector. What more can the Williams driver do through sector 2 as he heads through the Singapore Sling? Turn 11, 12 immediately following it. Oh, almost lost the rear end out of turn 12. Heading through the hairpin, going a little wider through the hairpin than some drivers will. Opens the DRS, heading down to Connaught. It's a 104.8, absolutely monstrously fast lap time through the first 2 sectors. Now turn 15 and 16, Crazy Fish across the line puts up a 37.6. That should be more than good enough for him to make it to Q3. Now underneath the grandstand is 4th gear for the Flying Dutchman through. Keeping it in 4th gear for this whole section of the track. Now he's heading into the final 2 corners. What can he do here? As he crosses the line, it's going to be a 38.2. It's P5. It should provisionally, it's good enough for the Williams driver. And that knocks out Horizon. Well, Genghis Logan, Stygian's teammate, P10 now. He's on the bubble. What can he do here? We're going to go to the Alfa Romeo of Locker, who's going to be starting his hot lap here as he crosses the line. So we move on to Cornish, who's also starting a hot lap. We've got Macy Q across the line, is starting another hot lap here. A lot of people who are being told. Yep, everyone here is still on a hot out lap. Just about. Move on to Needy Chicken. He didn't improve through the first sector, but he finds almost half a second in the second sector alone. So Needy Chicken could be putting up a time that'll without a doubt keep him safe for Q3. The time is ticking down. There's 15 seconds left in the session now. Needy Chicken heading underneath the grandstand. Out of turn 19 now through 20 and 21. Heading to the penultimate and final corners now. What can he do? The checkered flag is dropped for the session. Needy checking across the line. It's a 38.0. It's P3 for the Haas driver.
Nice.
Crazy Fish diving into the pits. Next man to look at.
And really, Ethan will not be
Stygian
setting a time.
also going to be diving into the pits.
Really, Ethan has invalidated his lap.
He's not even, he's in the garage actually. He didn't even put up a time.
No.
I just don't think he had much confidence in the setup and the track, and I just don't think he likes the track, honestly. And sometimes I can see why people don't like this track. Locker across the line. What can he do? It's a 39.1. It's only P12 though. It is not enough to make it to Q3. Cornish puts up pole. It's a 37.5. Macy Q across the line at 38.3. He finds almost 4/10, but it's not enough to keep him safe. At least not safe enough. Across the line, Genghis Logan, the man on the bubble. What can he do? It's a 38.0. It's P4. Stygian is in danger of possibly being kicked out. Quirky Turtle now puts up a lap time.
Horizon's currently 3/10 up. He's just coming through the last
Willem
few corners
across
now.
the line. It's a 37.9. Stygian is P10. Horizon Coming through the final
Oh,
two
he
corners,
knows
and he
he's spun!
spins! He spins! And Stygian breathes the biggest sigh of relief he's had in his life. If that lap would have connected, Stygian would have been knocked out. Or no, actually, I don't think he would have. He needed another, I think, at least 3/10 to match Macy Q. Oh, that absolute heartbreak.
But Stygian, his heart has just jumped into his throat.
I don't believe it. I really don't believe that's how it ended for him. You've got to feel for Horizon there.
Absolutely.
Stygian just inches away from being knocked out in Q2. That could have been catastrophic for Stygian's championship fight.
Up until, as far as I can judge from the middle sector, he was 3/10 up. That would have been good enough for a 38.6, but of course, we never would have known what he would have actually set through the final sector.
He could have found the extra time he needed. We don't know, and unfortunately, now we're never going to know. But
what could have been
your
from
bottom 5, Ruli, Ethan, Slinky Maliki, Locker, Horizon, Macy Q, your top 10, Cornish, Crazy Fish, Quirky, Mega Centurion, Willem, Jangus, Needy, Grunty, Oddbot, and Stygian.
I think Stygian got away lucky there, to be honest.
Yeah, Stygian definitely breathing much easier now. I mean, when he put up that lap, he was P5, and he dropped it to P10 like his lap time meant nothing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I waited until the last moment to get out of the garage. It was me asking. What other leagues have you betted? Because I recognize your name, and I don't know if it's because of GSRL streams that I occasionally watch, or if it's something else. I'm not sure, but I feel like you and I have been in a league together. First man out of the pits is the Haas of Needy Chicken. And after that Q2 session, how do you think Q3 is going to go?
Well, I think Stygian might want to be a little bit more pacey with his lap, because he was really on the cusp of getting knocked out there. And from what we're seeing, he might not be that high on the grid. If he can prove us wrong, then obviously all credit where it will be due. But yeah, there's been a few surprises tonight. I think could be a bit of a mixed up grid, considering this top 10. Mr. Oddbod's looking good. He could be a decent starter. It could end up being a rather good start for Williams anyway. We got Jengus Logan was looking quick through Q2 at the end.
Certainly was. Crazy Fish looks like he's going to be yet again the first man to put up a lap. Sorry, I was kind of distracted trying to get my RB
Depends
to
if he
work.
wants to let the AlphaTauri through. He's got Grunty and Needy Chicken following him. They are actually going to back off and give some space. That's good. Yep, as you said, Crazy Fish will be first.
That he will. Everyone now is out of the pits and onto the track. The last man out of the pits being the Williams of Jangus Logan. Gotta wonder whether Jangus Logan will be caught by Crazy Fish, as he's going to be starting his lap now. Running a bit of an eSports line here down the pit straight. Down to first gear for a moment there for the Red Bull through turn 3. Stream's muted right now.
Oh, you're
Hello?
joking.
I don't know.
Oh, please tell me we've not been silent
Testing.
for the
Can
last
anyone
2
hear me?
minutes or
Just
however
just
long.
give me a signal, anything. Even like the letter Q or something in the chat. Anything at all. Stream's fine. Okay, so
But that wasn't his
cool.
device being, was it? 'Cause it would be pretty
Oh,
embarrassing if
him
we've actually
he's
spent.
probably talking about himself. He probably muted the stream so he can focus. I'm an idiot. I don't know why I didn't figure that one out. Lol. I don't know why I didn't automatically assume that that was probably the situation. Once again, my
Mondays, am I
RB
right?
button is just acting up like crazy. 104.6 through the first 2 sectors for Crazy Fish. Runs extremely wide out of the exit of Connaught and doesn't invalidate. Quite shocked. I've seen invalidations for less than that, and
Yeah.
I guess Crazy Fish knows where the limits are. Ooh, rides the curb real heavy through turn 18 there. Saw the car clatter a bit, and car clattering again through turn 20. Oh, man, he is going real aggressive with his lap as he crosses the line. It's a 37.5. Absolutely stonking lap from the Red Bull driver. And Grunty crosses the line, and he puts up over about an eighth of a second faster. Needy Chicken left in the dust compared to these two. 38.7. Not a bad lap time at all, but
Whereas an invalid 1 minute
those two
42 for
just putting up an
Cornish.
absolutely monstrous lap times. Willem across the line puts up a 37.7. So top 3 looking kind of close right now.
I said
moved
Cornish
to Megas
invalidated there. I'd love to
who's
see how that lap he just did there wasn't invalid. He's
driving.
almost completely cut turn 1 on the curb.
Did Cornish invalidate again?
No,
I
no.
was about to say.
That's the thing, like, how did he not? He kind of jumped the curb completely. As Willem Shore goes P4. Digent, P3.
Corky across the line puts up a 37.8, and Stygian go ahead till puts up a 37.7. It's P3 for the Flying Dutchman provisionally. We've got a yellow at sector 3. It's for Jagis. He's turned around. He's going to have to turn himself back around real quick if he doesn't want to get disqualified. He's got pretty bad wing damage now, which means this set of tires has just been wasted. You've got to hope that the set he's using right now is a scuff set. Set he used in Q1 or Q2.
Yeah. Cornish has
If
invalidated
that's
again.
a brand new set, you're definitely not going to be he's definitely not going to be happy about that. And yes, that he has.
So
I am
Cornish,
not
like
sure.
you say, he's kind of wasted a bit of a soft. He is on a new set of tires, as we can see from the shine, but that is now 2 invalid laps he's put in. That's absolutely a set of tires down the drain. Not something he'd want.
Certainly not. We got 4 drivers that have yet to put up a lap time, and we've got 5 minutes and 17 seconds left in counting. The 4 drivers in question being the Alpha Tauri of Cornish, the Williams of Jangus Logan, the Alfa Romeo of Mega Centurion, and the Mercedes of Mr. Oddbod. Mr. Oddbod saying in the chat that it's weird, really weird how we did the calendar this season. I will definitely agree it is strange starting at Mexico, then going to Circuit of the Americas, and then following it with Spa. But I'm not going to argue. I don't think it's a bad... I didn't think it was a bad order. I actually thought it was kind of neat.
Yeah. That's the thing, if you know...
Weird, certainly, but...
So you know what order the tracks are in on the actual calendar, you know what to prepare for. It keeps you thinking if the tracks are in different orders. So starting in Mexico, then going to Belgium afterwards as Needy Chicken spins. Keeps you thinking you have to try and remember which track you're practicing for, and Chicken is having a donut session.
I was going to say, he's doing burnouts right now. I got to tell you, Needy, this is not NASCAR.
Now is not the time, mate.
I certainly wish Formula One had more burnouts, but we do not. So here we are. Oh God, no, Muddy. Respectfully,
No.
please don't even joke about that.
No.
Don't even joke about that. 16
No.
Monacos in a row. I wouldn't even be in this league. I'd be like, nah, I'm good. I am quite all right on that idea.
God, one Monaco's bad enough, not bloody 16.
Even a tenth of a Monaco is bad.
Ugh.
I don't care what corner, what section of the track, what part, like any part of Monaco is just no. I am quite all right on that idea. Like I can tell you right now, if starting next season, if we do another random draw, we need to be able to do the vote for which tracks we don't go to.
Yeah.
Just give us an option. Just give us every track as an option to not go to. Of course, some of the tracks that we didn't get to race at this season, I feel like have to be on the calendar next season.
Yes.
Just because we didn't do them. So you can't say, oh, well, we can't do China. It'd be like, well, too bad. We didn't do China this season. We're doing China the next season. But then at the same time, also don't be like, okay, we're racing at we're racing at Circuit of the Americas. It's like, why? It's like, because I want to. It's like, well, no. We need to do a vote on that. First man out of the pits for the final flying lap is the AlphaTauri of Cornish. He does need to put up a lap time. Bless you. Following him is Mega Centurion, Mr. Oddbod. It looks like Jangus Logan being behind Grunty. Grunty slowing down, I think, to let a car through. And that car is Crazy Fish, who's catching up drastically to Mr. Oddbod. Mr. Oddbod is just in the way. What is that? We've got another we got another car in the way, and this time I think it's Grunty. No, it's Cornish, giving Crazy Fish a bit of a. Now we got Mega Centurion. You've got to hope Mega Centurion gets out of the way. This could be huge penalties. He does get out of the way. But Mr. Oddbod just sat on the racing line in front of Crazy Fish. Crazy Fish having to get out of the way of him. That could be a penalty.
Well, it will be if a clip gets sent in, which I'm sure it will if it was that bad. I didn't actually get to see it there. I was looking at someone else.
I was watching on board with Crazy Fish, so I assume if Crazy Fish didn't clip it then and there, which I don't think he got to, someone will certainly clip it off of the stream here.
I was
Ignore
watching
the fact that
going
Cornish
slowly
is on a hot lap. He is not on a hot lap. Coming through the final two corners, the penultimate set of corners, now through the final set of corners. Across the line, Crazy Fish is going to put up a 37-2. And that's provisionally pole. You've got 30 seconds left. Quirky might not have enough time to get to the line. Quirky may have taken up too much time.
16 seconds as he goes under the grandstand. This is going to be pretty close.
Certainly will be.
Oh,
he cuts this corner a little bit. He cuts that corner. It's not going to invalidate both laps, though, as he's going to cross the line. And there's going to be 1 second left. He crosses the line in just enough time.
Had he not cut the corner there, he would not have made that. So I don't know if that's... I don't know if the stewards are going to look at that, but there was a...
They might. They might.
Yeah, there was... He did cut the corner just before the pit entry, and that has enabled him to do another lap.
Hobby's getting a tad laggy on my end. I don't know if you're feeling it or seeing it at all, but
I'm not watching.
I certainly got a good chunk of it. Riding along with Mega Centurion exiting Connaught. Not coming through Esplanade. Underneath the grandstand bay, as it's fondly known as. We had a yellow for an AlphaTauri. It was for Cornish. He's invalidated his lap. We move back to Mega Centurion. Coming through the final corners across the line. It's a 37-3. It's not enough for pole. We move to
Still
Grunty,
impressive,
the
though.
man who needs to start on pole to have an opportunity to chip away at Stygian's lead across the line. It's a 37-0. It's pole for
Wow.
Grunty. Mr. Oddbot a 37-4. Jengus a 37-6. Stygian, don't think he improved on the lap. I think he matched his lap time exactly. It's P6 for Stygian. And Quirky Turtle coming through the final corner. It's going to be P4. A 37-4. Man, I need a drink.
I was actually going to go get one once the session was over.
Same.
The one thing I forgot to do was get ready.
Man.
Yeah.
And that is Q3 over with. Done and dusted.
So I was right then with the shaking
Okay,
up. Not
three tracks I don't want to go to next season are Spain, Monaco, probably Canada, because this year they've completely ruined Canada.
Ugh.
Um,
I just have PTSD.
so your
of that
top
track
10.
now.
Top 10 of this race. For this race starting order: Grunty, Crazy Fish, Mega Centurion, Quirky Turtle, Mr. Oddbot, Jengus Logan, Stygian down in P7, P8, Willem Verschoor, Needy Chicken, and Cornish, who did not get the opportunity to put up a lap time.
So Stygian, if he wants to win the championship tonight, has it all to do. Grunty on pole, he's only 7th.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a bit tough for him.
Clearly,
traction
not
in Canada, I had it. Apologies for interrupting you, Slinky. Traction in Canada, I literally had to put it on full traction to even have a chance in the race to do anything. And it didn't matter because in the race I had some genius run into my gearbox twice.
Stygian's got some overtaking to win the title today, says Muddy Biscuit. Should be a good race. Well, we're absolutely hoping so. As Slytherin wants us to let Crazy Fish win.
Here.
That's not how it works, pal. Anyway, I shall briefly leave you on your own for a second while I go and get that drink I need.
Oh, same. I'm getting a drink too. No one ready up early or I'm going to be infuriated.
Yeah, if we come back and see things that have actually started, then it's going to be a problem. Anyway. Yeah.
And I am back. See, Jedi has not yet come back, so to start this race, we've got Grunty in the AlphaTauri starting on the hards. Crazy Fish in the Red Bull on the hards. Mega Centurion in the Alfa Romeo hards as well. Hards for Corky Turtle in the Mercedes. Mediums for the Mercedes of Mr. Oddbod and the Williams of Jangus Logan. Hards on the Williams of Stygian and on the McLaren of Willem Verschoor. Mediums on the Haas of Needy Chicken. Hards for the AlphaTauri of Cornish. Mediums for both the Haas of Macy Q and the McLaren of RSF1 Horizon. Hards for the bottom three of Locker in the Alfa Romeo, Slinky Maliki in the Red Bull, and YT Ruley Ethan in the Aston Martin. His car is ghosted. I'm a little concerned with that. That might mean he's not in the game. If that is the case, please send him an invite if you can.
On it.
We've got Willem Verschoor dropping a decent bit back on Stitch, and he's going to have to catch up. I don't know if anyone's been called for a penalty on that yet, but he's definitely got to catch up if he doesn't want to find out.
The invite is there if he needs it, Ethan.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we didn't start
Stygian,
early,
both of Stygian's laps were the exact same time of a 1 minute 38.720 second lap.
What exactly?
Ooh, Grunty trying to...
Steady on.
Grunty almost spun his car out trying to heat the tires up.
How does he do that? How does he set identical laps?
Okay, so his first sector for his both laps was a 27.042, 27.189. I don't have enough time to go through all that.
Yeah, we'll do that later.
Horizon and Locker both disqualifying themselves on the lap. We're going to have to ride along with Mega Centurion for this. It's 5 lights out, and away we go here for the Singapore Grand Prix. Doesn't look like Centurion got a very good start. Grunty didn't get a very good start. Crazy Fish got an absolutely
going around
monster
the outside
start. Mr. Oddbot up to P3. Mega Centurion P4. Corky. Stygian gains a spot. Jangus Logan lost a spot. Honestly, we're going to have to look at the position changes. Almost everyone has either gained or lost a spot with the exception of the bottom 4. We go back to Crazy Fish.
Oh, there's a bit of contact there between Cornish and Macy Q as he goes down the inside, and Macy's been... Oh, no, he holds it.
Oh, and Macy spun.
He's
not out of it, though. He's back.
Oh, well held, sir. Well held. Unfortunately, he lost positions, of course, but he's still going without damage, I do believe.
Man with the best start on this race so far, Mr. Oddbot, who gained 2 spots. Unfortunately, the worst start going to Macy Q, who was in P9, I believe, before the spin.
Yeah.
So he went from P11 to P9, back down to P14. Just an unfortunate start for the Haas. Don't think there's going to be any other position changes here. Does not look like so. Everyone's in single file order now.
Hasn't been the most ideal of starts for Grunty, losing a position to Crazy Fish, although he is still ahead of Stygian, so he's going to be happy with that for the time being.
Oh, and it looks like Jangus Logan and Stygian fighting for position. Jangus backing out of it, though, before turn 1. Oh, and now Jangus has to worry about Needy Chicken going around his outside for turn 3.
That's Stygian.
Oh, that is Stygian. Oh, man, so
Oh!
so Genghis got the spot. What happened? Oh, boy.
Chicken and Stygian have got very, very touchy. Oh my good lord!
Oh, they're touching again.
Needy, this is not how you race wheel to wheel, buddy.
I can promise you this is definitely not.
I'm gonna
Oh,
try to get an onboard
contact
outboard
between
shot. Sorry, I
Stygian,
hope it doesn't have
Cornish, and
damage.
Willem all bumping wings together. Doesn't look like there's any damage, though. Didn't see any
No.
carbon fiber come off.
Stygian was very close to being put in the wall twice there, actually.
Oh, yeah, that could have been catastrophic for Stygian.
Of course, they got Cornish and Willem right behind him, so it could actually be a bit of a pile-up.
And frankly, I think the last person Stygian wants to see in front of him is Cornish, because if Cornish gets in front of him, I mean, he's gonna have to fight tooth and nail for that position.
Cornish is going to do what Sergio Perez does for Max Verstappen.
Certainly, he's gonna become an absolute concrete wall.
I would have assumed Genghis would let Stygian through, because Stygian's in the driver's fight and Genghis is not. But of course, that's...
Well, of course, you got to remember that Genghis is probably also fighting for a position battle himself in the championship, so maybe he wants to get more points too.
Granted, and of course, Williams are still fighting AlphaTauri.
Oh, and Genghis is spun.
Oh.
Genghis is just spun. I just rode along with him, and he spun.
Ah,
He rode the curb pretty heavy in turn 1, and he he pretty much completely lost it there. Down to P13 now, losing a position.
Sorry for speaking.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's definitely not what you wanted to see. At least not for him. AlphaTauri, though, probably looking at the chops, hearing that now. And yes, Stygian does gain a position, but I don't think he wanted to gain it like that.
That's just typical. We're talking about Genghis, and unfortunately, he's made a mistake.
Yeah, the first time all season we've said more than like 2 sentences about the guy, and he spins.
Cornish is all the back of Stygian.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to make his life easy back here.
But then Cornish has got double trouble because he's got Willem at an equal distance behind him.
Yeah, Stygian, Cornish, and Willem all also on the same tires to start this race, so...
Yep.
And we've got another yellow behind. It might...
Not quite sure why they're
No.
all going.
No, it's not for Ruli Ethan, who's unfortunately still not rejoined the session, which means his AI is just not gonna be doing anything for him. Genghis in the pits now.
Oh dear.
Yeah, definitely not.
I
Definitely
did
not
send
the
you an
start he
invite.
wanted.
Mind you, actually. Check the Discord.
Stygian is just continuing to drop off of Needy Chicken like a rock. He needs to catch up to him, and it's just not working for him.
Nope.
And Cornish getting real close to the gearbox of Stygian. Not going to be able to make the move here, though. Genghis on the hard tires. He will be doing... he'll probably try to get to the end on those tires, but I don't know if he'll be able to do that. I think the longest I've gotten a set of hards to do is 25 laps. He's got to go 28. Oh! Cornish went a little wide through the hairpin. He wanted to take a wider entry, and Willem immediately went for the gap, and they absolutely smashed into each other.
I looked away for 5
Wings
seconds.
come off.
I was just going to try to look through the chat, see if Ethan's put a message if he's not joining or not, but there's nothing there.
You look through the Discord too.
Yeah.
The top two haven't really used their ERS much, but Oddbot has used almost all of it. Mega Centurion used a little bit, not much. Corky about 55 range, 60% needy chicken, 40 for Stygian, 60 for Cornish. Cornish riding the curbs in turns 1, 2, and 3 the same way Jengus did before he spun.
I was going to say he went
Looks
a
like
bit
he's
too
just
deep
got better
into
control of
one.
the car there. I'd say if Cornish wants to pass him, he's got to go all out. The issue is then Stygian's going to go use all his battery, and I don't know if you want to do that, but
That might have been an exceeding track limits on that curve, although I don't know how they work, because you don't actually get to see warnings show up anymore.
oh, Willem losing the rear end a little bit through turn 8. It's going to drop him back a good bit. Oh, it's needy chicken is
and
around.
that's just ahead. Oh, he's direct.
Oh, it's
Okay.
ghosted. It's ghosted.
Well,
Oh,
thank
man, that was
leap for that.
dangerous.
Willem, you might want to give those positions back, buddy. You can't overtake under the yellows. I think Stygian might have just been screwed over a bit here. He's got Cornish and Willem's got ahead of him under the yellows.
Yeah. Cornish, I think, passed him right as the safety car came out.
Cornish
so
was actually alongside him as it happened. I think, to be fair, though, Stygian...
no, that's what I'm saying. He was
Stygian
right
wasn't
next to him,
expecting the
so
Haas to be...
the game may have given him the position over Stygian.
Yeah.
Willem, though, just outright passed him, and I don't think it gave him it didn't give him a penalty for that, so...
Clearly not. I think Stygian was expecting Chicken to still be solid, so he's kind of pulled to the right to avoid him.
Oh, yeah, they both were.
Cornish just went straight
through him.
Although I don't think
Cornish saw him until the very last second, and by then, even if he did try to move, he would have just died into the side of him.
He went through a ghost,
Mr. Oddbot in the pits.
Yeah.
Locker in the pits as well. He started on the hards, and Maliki in the pits as well. I don't understand what... I understand Oddbot doing it. He started on the mediums. I get that, but these two are going on to the mediums, which means they're going to have to pit again. Both of them, but they also both had wing changes that they needed to do. And just an unfortunate way for Needy Chicken to end the race. He was running in P6 at the time, and now he's out of the race. You hate to see that. Definitely not the way you wanted it to go for him, for anyone for that matter.
Well, I wonder, with that rather interesting overtake from Willem Rashore, will Stygian be able to use the safety car bunching everyone up to his advantage and maybe try and get out the field a bit? Could we potentially see Grunty get that move on Crazy Fish?
Well, that whole situation also helps out AlphaTauri because Cornish gets a free spot off of Stygian. Although that one obviously not nearly as troubling. Willem just outright passing Stygian in it, giving him the position. And Rully Ethan's AI just overtook Locker. Outright overtook him.
Right.
Not definitely unfortunate for Locker there.
Because he won't be able to overtake the Ghost, which means he'll be compromised by position because he'll be further back from Oddbod when we get going again. He's already on the back foot.
On the other hand, this safety car helps out Jenkins Logan catch back up to the pack and perhaps fight for points again.
Yeah. Well, safety car will be in this lap, of course, because everyone has caught up. There we go.
Making Crazy Fish the effective safety car for this restart. Your safety car restart order: Crazy Fish, Grunty, Mega Centurion, Quirky Turtle, Cornish, Willem, Stygian, Horizon, Macy Q, Mr. Oddbod, Ruli Ethan's AI, Locker, Jangus, and Slinky Maliki.
Well, hopefully the ghost isn't going to cause too many problems.
Coming out of turn 21, and it looks like he's going now.
He's gone early.
And they've both caught out Mega Centurion by a mile. Quirky Turtle also dropping off Cornish.
And Cornish... Oh, no.
Nope. Oh, Cornish is spun! And he's out!
No,
he's not. He's back. He's still in the race. Wow, and Locker avoiding him by millimeters.
Big dash.
Oh, that is absolute torture for him. Stygian gaining another spot now. He's fighting with Willem.
I want to question that restart slightly.
P5.
Cornish got past Willem before the line.
Well, Cornish, here is the thing. Cornish was P5, Willem was P6. So Willem passed him first, then he passed him back.
Okay, right. I must have missed that. That was Macy Q absolutely sends one Willem. That was a bit of
when he almost crashes. I think he hit the inside wall.
That was a bit wishful thinking there, Macy.
Oddbot also trying to get past Willem, and Willem has just become an absolute tank.
Oh, and
Oddbot hits him and
Macy
he hits Macy Q.
Guys, calm down.
Oh, man, this is not the restart that a lot of drivers have wanted. Some of these guys with an absolutely fantastic restart, like Crazy Fish and Grunty. Others like Cornish and Oddbot and them. Oh, boy.
Oh, Slinky Maliki's locked up. And...
Oh, yeah, that he did.
Cornish goes through as Jengus picks up our first penalty of the night for track limits. And you know what's kind of depressing? It's only lap 8. We have a long race to go. So I've actually just realised why Slinky has been locking up. He doesn't have a front wing. We've clearly missed something there. Something has gone very wrong with the Red Bull. As Willem, Cornish and Slinky will all enter the pits. I assume it's wing changes all around. Of course, the AlphaTauri and the Red Bull do. Don't know about the McLaren. Race director actually pit stops. Did Willem get a front wing? Yes, he did.
Alright, sorry, had to deal with some stuff.
Yeah, that's Slinky Maliki's second wing change.
Is it now?
Yeah.
And he's back on a 5-lap old set of tires.
So that's the tyres he started on. The wing change went onto the mediums. Now he's gone back onto them with his second wing change. I don't actually know what happened with him, but he was locking up quite a fair bit, and I never actually realised he didn't have a front wing. So that's obviously no front end downforce.
The front wing might have been the reason he didn't. The lack of one, I should say, might have been the reason he locked up so much.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just unfortunately don't know how that occurred.
Unfortunately, I was dealing with something, so I was kind of just stuck watching one driver.
That's no problem. Well, Crazy Fish will lead us to start lap 10 of this race. The DRS gets re-enabled. That'll be music to Grunty's ears. Mind you, the Honda engine's music to my ears. Love the sound of that thing.
Well, as I said earlier, about a week or two ago, my headset's broken, so I cannot hear the game. I can hear you, I cannot hear the game.
Well, I'm sorry I said that to depress you a little bit, as Locker made a move on Macy.
Well, it's fine. I prefer the Renault engine sound.
Each their own. Yep, nothing wrong with that. Macy
I like the
Q.
Honda engine.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't dislike the Renault sound. The Ferrari sounds quite good on this game when you put it in cinematic mode, though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No question. Gotta wonder whether Grunty is gonna try and pass Crazy Fish, or if he's just cool with sticking right behind him, waiting for him to make a mistake.
Or maybe just hang behind, maybe get him in the pits, or just stick in P2, not go for too much of a risky move, seeing as he's ahead of Stygian. Genghis Logan has got past Macy Q, who has spun, actually. I don't know if there was contact between the two. Macy Q, unfortunately, facing the wrong way. Still with a full wing, though, so able to carry on.
Certainly, but by now he might want to change on to the hard tires.
Maybe.
Or if he didn't already use his extra set of mediums in qualifying, perhaps use that.
Sorry.
Stygian has caught the top 4, not by much, only about 3/10, but he
ERS.
has caught them. Macy Q a speeding penalty, so he does pit at the end of that lap.
Gets alongside the Red Bull, heading in a turn.
Around the
Whatever that is, I
outside
don't know what corner that
Memorial
is.
Corner.
And that's a
And he
brilliant
gets the
move
job
from Grunty. Very nice around the outside.
Absolutely fantastic.
What turn is that? 1, 2, 3, 4,
It's
5.
turn 7.
Oh. So there's a couple of corners there I don't 100% count as corners, but, well. Cornish picks up a penalty.
Yep. I gotta tell you, if there was a drinking game for that, you would, oh man, you would not be having a good time.
Oh yeah. Crazy Fish might just be kind of losing pace with the age of the tires. Mega Centurion now on his tail.
Yeah. And he's already dropped almost 8/10 to Grunty since Memorial Corner, so.
And Quirky Turtle's joining this fight as well. I think maybe
he's been here the whole time. He's just been quiet.
I think Crazy Fish just maybe struggling. Maybe the tire's not fully heated up, or maybe the age of them is just starting to cause a problem for him.
Well, that can't be the case. I mean, these are only 11 lap old hards. If it was the mediums, I'd understand, but he's on 11 lap old hards. At this point, the tires should start feeling good. It takes about 5 laps for hard tires to really get to where you want them to be. Takes about a whole lap for him to get up to temperature, and another lap to even feel okay, and after 5 laps, they finally start feeling real good. So 11 laps, they should still feel really good. He's going to use the DRS, of course, try and catch up to Grunty. He's stayed in the DRS of Grunty, which is the good news here, but nowhere
Mr.
near.
Oddbod is going down the inside of Horizon. Not a lot of space left on the outside,
side by
but
side, heading into
Horizon,
turn 8.
goes a bit deep, the McLaren.
They touched wheel. They touched just a bit. Thankfully, no damage, no harm, no foul.
Yep. To be fair, Oddbod didn't leave Horizon a lot of space on the outside, so maybe it's just a bit of what goes around comes around.
Certainly. Macy Q in the pits again. He's done a lap on his hard tires, and now he's got a 5-second speeding penalty that he's having to serve. Back to the front.
It's a wing change as well.
Still just maintaining a lead. Yeah, and he's switching onto the softs. Interesting strategy there. I've got to wonder. You got to wonder why he's picking that strat.
Or is he just out of tires? You don't normally tend to use softs on this track. They just die as soon as you use them.
Well, it could be similar to a strategy I picked last season at Singapore. Of course, I did that under a safety car. And as soon as I, about 2 laps after the safety car came back in, rain started to come. So that was my reason for picking those softs. His could be that. We didn't get a weather report whether there's going to be rain here tonight or not. Well, you got to wonder whether that's why he's picking those softs, but
I mean, Horizon, what the
Not sure. Oh, and Horizon's out.
What on earth happened there? So I was on board
And
with
it's another
Oddboard right
safety
behind
car.
Horizon, and he just
And
dropped
Macy's
it
got to be kicking himself right now.
mid corner. Like how's he even done that? It's on the exit of turn 3, maybe the little left-hander being turn 4. I'm not 100% sure, but it didn't look like he could have possibly had a problem. He's just lost it.
Oh, evening, Timma. Yeah, I'm praying for rain tomorrow too, dude. I hope the track tomorrow is like a monsoon, dude. I need it to be a monsoon. That's like the only chance I have at finishing in a good position.
Oh, Cornish and Slinky Maliki are into the pits. It's going to be hards for Cornish, mediums for Slinky.
He said so Maddie, what's up? Horizon said my pedal and myself is so crappy right now. I just lost it.
And
Hey man, we all have those moments, man. I can
that is
fully
just bad
understand
luck.
that.
Really unfortunate.
Yeah. Just terrible way for the race to end for the McLaren of Horizon.
ACQ.
Wish you the best of luck for the final 2 races.
Yeah.
Grunty in the pits, Crazy Fish, Mega Centurion, Quirky, Stitchin, Oddbod's gonna stay out. All 5 of the whole top 5 had to pit. They had yet to pit onto a new set of tires. And it looks like Jangus Logan is also going to stay out, so he's going to get P2. At one point, he was 13th. He is now in P2. This track is a race of attrition. I will tell you that right now. Grunty, the first man out of the pits, followed by Crazy Fish, Mega Centurion, Quirky, Stitchin, Locker onto a set of brand new hards. And he can get those to the end. Willem into the pits, and he barely speeds. I don't believe it. He sped by 2 miles an hour. Oh, that's unfortunate. The good news about this safety car, though, is that it allowed a guy like Jangus, guys like, well, wait, Locker, I don't know how far back Locker was. I don't think he was in a bad spot before this safety car. But guys like Willem, Cornish, Slinky, and Macy Q all to catch back up to the leaders. Once again, another reset, essentially, for these guys. As long as they haven't already run through all of their clean tires. Cornish onto a set of brand new mediums. I'm not 100% sure if you can make mediums go this long. If you can, hey, bravo to you, but you're going to be hard-pressed to find a guy on a set of mediums go to the end here. Oh, and Cornish gets a 5-second penalty for crossing the pit line too early. Oh, geez. That's what I was saying. In qualifying, you've got to be very conservative on the pit exit. You cannot afford to go even an inch over that line. It's probably the most aggressive pit line in all of F1.
Yep.
We should do at least another lap under the safety car. And if you can't remember, this track is about the longest. This track has the longest lap under the safety car, if I remember correctly. Oddbot crossing the line. It's 2 minutes and 26.5 seconds. Slinky Maliki getting a time penalty, trying to catch up to the lead pack. As much as I can understand why he's trying so hard, you've got to remember you cannot be getting penalties under safety car.
Yeah. Of course, you're eating your tires up a little bit early as well, trying to catch up. It might heat them up quickly,
Yeah.
but it will burn out some of the life a bit too quickly.
Yeah, you definitely want to keep a good bit of tread on the tires. And considering you're trying to make these mediums go to the end, you definitely don't want to push too hard. I get going full speed in the straights, but you don't have to go too fast through the corners.
Yeah, and
to catch
the
back up to these guys.
bit of a difference here. Slinky's tires are a lap older than everyone else's currently running mediums.
That they are, and he's been running at near full pace the entire time. So versus Grunty to Stygian, where they've been running mostly safety car pace. Safety car should probably come in, although Macy Q is still about a mile behind these guys.
He's going for it. He's going full pace to catch up. To be fair, but
He's
don't
on
think it's
hards
going to
though,
be quick
so he
enough.
can push as hard as he wants on those hards. He can make it to the end from about lap 12 on to the end easily. And as I said earlier, you can probably make a set of hards go at least 25 laps. Any longer than that, though, and you're definitely going to be, well, by the time you get to 25, you'll be in puncture territory. Anything further, and it's just playing with fire.
I think we are going to go
cans
further up. I don't think
doused in
Macy's going to get there
petroleum.
quickly enough.
I don't think it's going to matter, as the safety car is yet to say it's coming in, which means it is going to do another lap.
Well, normally it says safety car coming in along the straight where Macy currently is, so I think we are going again.
There we are. Oh, and Oddbod looked like he was going to dive into the pits for a moment there. I'm not going to lie. Oh, Jengus is going into the pits. Jengus is going into the pits. This is going to delegate him or relegate him back down to P12 and might even lose a spot to Macy Q.
Well, I suppose get him on the fresh
That he will.
tires now.
Yeah, he's going on to the medium, so his tires can definitely make it to the end
I think
here.
he stayed out because Stygian came in when the safety car came out. As Cornish has hit
with
Slinky.
a severe collision with Slinky.
I very highly
Oh,
doubt it was
no,
severe. I
this
think
is-
Cornish may have slightly tapped the back of him, but of course, because it's a safety car, I don't really know why this is a thing, but if you touch a car under the safety car conditions, you just get an instant 5-second penalty.
Well, that's not actually true. I had a league race last week where I bumped into the back of a guy, and somehow I got away with it. I'm like, okay then.
Well, you got the luck of God. Give it to me. I'm 52 points
I
behind
wish
in my
I had-
championship. I want your luck.
I'm like 120 back, so trust me. I would prefer to have yours if I'm only 60 back.
Well,
Being
in that
60
case,
back would be a dream.
pray for Baku. My sprints the entire season have been an absolute nightmare. I don't think I've had a single good sprint this entire season.
My first sprint race this year, I literally got taken out by a guy who's not in the league anymore.
Yeah.
I
Silverstone.
got straight up taken out lap 1 at Spa, and I'm just like, hooray!
Yeah. Nice.
Silverstone, I didn't even try. I did like 2 laps, and then I parked it because I knew I wasn't going to get any better than like dead last.
Well, I
Safety cars
followed
in this lap.
I followed my team principal's race strategy in the sprint. I ran out of fuel before the end, so I dropped out of the points. And in the feature race, I was taken out on that one. So, not a single point to show for a good old Blighty. Brazil, a couple of weeks ago, I just kept spinning on
Brazil, I
one
got
corner. I don't really know how,
I think I
because
got
I've never
P8
had a
Brazil.
problem with that corner, but whatever's happened has happened. I will, as we prepare to go green again.
That we do is Mr. Oddbod now will be the safety car for this restart. We're going to ride on board with Cornish, or with Grunty, excuse me. See what kind of restart he can get against the Mercedes.
Leaving it late as he can.
Yep, he's gonna keep going as slow as he can. And he's going now halfway through the final corner. He doesn't catch anyone off guard.
Well, Quirky's got
So
a
he's just
brilliantly
done
timed
possibly
start
the
there. He's already got
worst.
past Mega Centurion into turn 1.
Oh, but Mega Centurion off the track. Had to back out of it. And now he's in danger to losing it out to... we got a car
Slinky.
spinning, and we
What?
got another car around as well. Slinky Maliki and Cornish. Cornish without a front wing. Slinky, I don't see any damage. We're going to have to get a better angle here on this one. Back to the front. Grunty around the outside again at Memorial Corner. Mr. Oddbod not giving him a lot of space on the exit. Doesn't matter. Grunty gets past him, and he's back into the lead. And now he's just going to be a moving chicane in front of Crazy Fish and Quirky.
And Slinky does not have
As
damage.
Grunty
I've
gets
got
an
absolutely no idea what's
monster
happened.
spot. He may have bumped into the back of a guy, or perhaps got onto the gas a little too soon, or even ride the
Willem
curbs.
sending it a locker into the.
But he does, and he gets
the
P7
chicanes.
from the Alfa Romeo.
I
Trying to
don't
go
know
around the
what
outside of the
corner, so-
hairpin to get Stidge in there. Meanwhile, Grunty is now pulled out of the DRS of Mr. Oddbod, which is not going to be good for the rest of the field.
Certainly not Stygian, still in P6 at the moment. Willem Verschoor is absolutely right on his diffuser.
Yeah. Right on board with Crazy. Actually, Mega Centurion's the closest to the guy behind him outside of Willem. Meanwhile, Crazy Fish still stuck behind the Mercedes of Mr. Oddbod. He's going to have to hope he can get past him on the boulevard. Or he might be looking for the move here in turn 5. He goes down to the inside.
I think it would have been a bit
didn't get
foolish
good
to go
angle
there because he would have just gifted Oddbod the DRS, so I think smart game was to stay back.
No,
but...
no DRS yet.
Oh, okay.
Gotta remember, you gotta wait
yeah,
two full
sorry,
laps.
My bad. He goes for it.
Crazy Fish dives down the inside. He pushes Oddbod out wide. And they're still side by side here in turn 8.
Bang tire
And it
slightly.
looks like he's gonna get it done. Crazy Fish finally out. Finally gets past
Good
Mr.
move, to be
Oddbod,
fair.
but he's 2.7 seconds behind Grunty now. And now Quirky's gonna have to deal with his teammate. Does Mr. Oddbod get out of the way of his teammate, or does he hold him up as well?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be the latter, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, he's defending like a lion right now.
Well,
It doesn't
Quirky
matter.
goes through.
Quirky just flies past him there.
I don't know if that was actually him
And he
getting
gets
out
the
the way
move
because
done. The next
Centurion.
man, Mega Centurion. Oh, Mega Centurion riding the curb at turn, I believe it was 17 there. Let's ride on board with Willem. He's going to get a real good view of Stygian's rear wing. DRS now enabled.
That might have been the last thing Stygian wanted to see because Willem is closer to him than he is to Mega Centurion.
Yeah.
Ooh, Willem goes a bit deep into turn 3 there.
That he does.
As
Locker
Willie
is going to be
Eaton's
able to
AI
stay in
has
the
started
DRS
picking.
of Willem, which means this DRS train goes from P4 to P9.
Whoa. Centurion makes the move.
And he's going to get P4.
I think this is where Oddbod just
Really
starts
Ethan is
dropping
in
back.
the pits. I'm not
just
sure
for the
what
tire
for,
age.
but it's on a new set of mediums, though. We'll back up at the front. Crazy Fish still trying to bring Grunty back into his sights, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to do much. I mean, he got held up quite a bit by Mr. Oddbod. Stygian still desperately looking for anything to get past the Mercedes of Mr. Oddbod. Mr. Oddbod using the DRS. Is it going to matter? Oh, Stygian around the outside of Connaught. It's definitely not the place you want to try and overtake. He's not around the outside, but he's going to do it here in turn 15 and 16. Oh, and he's
Oddbod
around.
spun.
Mr. Oddbod spun. And just
Well-
like that, it's probably race over for Mr. Oddbod.
Rather unorthodox
still get
place for an
points,
overtake,
certainly.
if we're completely honest.
Certainly not. Genghis on the gearbox of Locker, trying to find anything he can to get past him. Willem lost a good chunk of time to Stygian because of that spin, too. Mr. Oddbod in the pits now. I assume he will be going on to a set of fresh mediums.
It's
No, he's
soft.
going on to softs. That is a very strange decision. Perhaps he's just looking for fastest lap.
Well, there's absolutely no chance they're going to the end. Genghis now pulls out from
Certainly
the back
not
of
unless he goes
Locker.
about half throttle.
And
Cengiz
nice
gets
and
the move
simple
done.
down the
Locker
inside.
looking for the move back on him, though. He's going to be able to maybe do the switchback. No, he doesn't have it. So Cengiz gets P7.
6 lap hards against 4
Meanwhile,
lap mediums. That's Genghis's win.
Certainly is. Now he has a free chance to catch up to Willem for sure.
As we're
Locker's
talking
starting to
about him,
drop
he's
off
chasing
of
the back of
Williams
Stygian still.
Cengiz. That he is. Up to the battle for P3 between Corky and Mega Centurion. Mega Centurion not being able to make a move on the Mercedes, but he certainly kept himself close enough to have a chance.
Teammates.
Back at the front, Grunty now up with a 3.4 second gap on Crazy Fish. Crazy Fish starting to drop back a bit. Mega Centurion looked for the move into turn 7. It wasn't there.
Oh,
But he looks for it here, and he almost... Oh, they almost
that
touched.
was not going to work there. I would not have ended well
Oh, that
for
would
either
have
of
been
them.
disastrous for them both. That wasn't going to just fail for Mega Centurion. That was going to be a huge, huge downfall for for Quirky. With moves like that, though, it's going to allow Stygian to catch up to those two and get back into the DRS. That's the one thing Stygian hasn't been able to do is catch up to a driver who's more than a second and ahead of him. Once he's dropped out of the DRS, he's kind of just fallen back.
Yeah.
Although he's only lost about a tenth and a half to the guys in front since passing Mr. Oddbot, he's not catching at all. Is what the downside here is.
Noticing their Quirky turret had a bit of a back end step out in the going under the grandstand. Centurion, if he can keep close enough in the final corner, might have a run on him into turn 1, but I think he might be a bit too far back here. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be right like on the gearbox of the guy in front of you to make a move on him into turn 1. Either that or just to be drastically faster as Mega Centurion. Oh, masterful save there from the Alfa Romeo driver. Absolutely masterful. Unbelievable. I don't know how he caught that half spin. Mr. Oddbod with the fastest lap of the session now. With a 40.4.
Well, it won't be a point for anyone because he's currently sitting in P11.
Maddie, if you're asking whether Mr. Oddbod's tires will make it to the end, I very much doubt it unless he just starts to go half throttle through the track. And even then, it'll be close.
He's in the
honestly.
Mercedes. Maybe he's trying to emulate Lewis Hamilton. Finish it on 3.
I was going to say, I'm guessing you mean blow a tire out with half a lap to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Sorry, I probably could have been a bit more specific there.
Yeah, I was like, I assume that's what he means, but I got to make sure. Genghis is just outside DRS range now for these guys. Oh, he rides the curb. Definitely going to cost him a good chunk of time, and it does about 4/6 tenths now. Wow, and just like that, he's definitely going to have to haul everything he can into this push effort to catch up to those guys. Even if he does catch up to those guys, is it going to be enough? Is he going to have enough, I should say, for anything?
Well, I'm just looking at that a little bit closer at Stygian here.
Continuing to pull away, not by much. He's 3.8 seconds on Crazy Fish. Quirky about 2 seconds back on Crazy Fish. And Mega Centurion still looking for a move, but it's just not there.
Stygian got such a brilliant exit out of turn 4. That's been what's been able to give him the edge to stay ahead of the McLaren.
Oh! Mega Centurion losing the rear end a little bit out of turn 9. Talking about the medium tire runners. Yeah, they should. They should be able to make it. Tires will be pretty shredded by the end, but they should be able to make it to the end. Jagus is now in DRS rage of Willem Verschoor. This is going to be a huge morale boost for the Williams driver.
And in turn, it could help take the pressure off his teammate. Of course, Verschoor has been all over the back of Stygian for the last several laps.
Although, it looks like he's dropped off a good bit. He's 9/10 back, about 3 car lengths behind the Williams now.
Oh.
Yeah, he's catching him a little bit now because of DRS, but...
Yeah, he was at 0.4.
But if he continues to drop like that, that could be very, very problematic for the Williams. Like Williams dropping back now. It looks like he's starting to push again. Look at MACQ. He's still trying to get the move done on Locker. I don't think he's going to be able to do much, though. Locker's tires are 2 laps younger. By the end, it's definitely going to be... Well, that's definitely going to be the difference. Going to be all the difference he needs. Mega Centurion almost outside of the DRS of Quirky Turtle. Cornish with another 3-second time penalty. Oh, and Mega Centurion's now dropped out of the DRS. Across the DRS line, though, he stays in it just enough to keep himself inside it. Cornish back in the pits again. I assume this time it's for fastest lap. And that it is, but he's got to serve a 5-second time penalty.
There. You won't be getting a point either.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Jenkins ran too wide there.
Oh, yeah.
Penalty.
Oh, that's going to hurt. Oh, and he's on 6 seconds, too.
Yeah.
Which means now he's not only got to pass Willem, he's got to get a whole second on him.
And also, he's stuck in this little train here. That's going to invite Locker to maybe catch up slightly. Oh, to be fair, Locker doesn't have
I don't know how much he's gonna, but...
Where's the...
Well, he's only 3 seconds. Jenkins with 6.
There we go, yeah.
Willem with 5.
So I thought Locker maybe only had to close 2 seconds, he's actually had to close 5.
Oh, never mind. Cengiz, when he keeps it on track. But he does spin, which is going to allow Locker to catch up and maybe get an extra position off of the Williams. It's going to be really bad for Cengiz. Even with 2-lap pressured tires. Oh, Mega Centurion with a penalty that's going to allow Stygian to catch him in position. Of course, that means Mega Centurion's going to have to pull away by a second on the Williams driver. And Mr. Oddbod could get a point in this race if he catches up to Slinky or keeps the gap between him and Slinky to less than 3 seconds. Of course, now this has actually allowed Stygian to catch up. He's starting to catch Mega Centurion a decent bit. Cornish with another 3-second time penalty. That's his third of the race, giving him 9 seconds. Cengiz starting to pull away from Locker once again. He's 4.5 seconds already on him again. 1 point being down to 3.8. Oh, Cengiz losing the rear end again out of turn 19. Definitely not feeling very good with these tires now. Oh, yeah, they're absolutely infuriated with him.
You flat spotted us, you.
I wasn't going to finish that sentence. That would not have been very good to say.
Oh, it would not have.
Okay, yeah. Think before you speak, David. Think before you speak. This is why I'm co-commentator, not the main commentator.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Boy.
Currently, the fastest lap of the race goes to Mr. Oddbot, still with that 40.4. Cornish, he's got a 40.7 as his fastest lap. Across the line, he's improving his lap by almost 7 tenths. So you almost can't help but wonder how much of a lap is he going to be able to pull out here? I mean, if he improves by about 7 tenths like he's going to, it's going to be about a 40.0 something. Oh, runs real wide through the final 2 quarters. It's a 40.1. Across the line, Grunty comes, and it's 4 laps to go. The lead between Grunty and Crazy Fish is almost 5 seconds now. Quirky is yet to catch Crazy Fish at all. He's still 2 seconds back. Stygian is continuing to reel in the Alfa Romeo of Mega Centurion. Willem stays in the DRS just barely. That's all he needs to keep that DRS on his side. Mr. Oddbod passes Slinky. Slinky into the pits, and he speeds because he hit the gas instead of the brakes on the with like 10 meters to go. He pits for a new front wing and for soft tires. Should give him a chance to get his own fastest lap in, see what he can do. ACQ right behind Locker. Locker almost basically cutting the Singapore sling there.
No.
I'm not sure how you can cut that corner, but he found a way to do it. And Stygian now is right on Mega Centurion's gearbox. How did that happen? Mega Centurion lost over a second of the lead that he used to have. Cornish back in the pits again. And I have to assume it's so he can get fastest lap, put another fastest lap on. And he broke his front wing, so that might also explain it. Meanwhile, Grunty might get DRS off of the ghosted AI, and he is going to get it off the ghosted AI. And of course, he's going to just drive right through him.
Of course, we're getting to the end of the race now. It's probably worth saying, of course, that the championship will not be decided tonight. Stygian will not be outscoring Grunty by 7, as we can see.
Certainly will not be. In fact, that championship lead will go from what was 53 points provisionally is going to go down to 40 points. As he crosses the line, the penultimate lap of this race has started, and we're going to have to hope and pray that that message I was referring to in qualifying does not show up here for any of these drivers. Stygian's still right behind Mega Centurion, trying to see if he can get one last chance to get P4 on track.
Sure, I don't think it's really necessary. He could just hang back. He doesn't really have enough time to catch up to Quirky Turtle for P3. And of course he's going to get P4 off of Mega Centurion with the penalty anyway. All he really needs to do is slam. Then again, that's actually easy as well.
One final time. One final pit stop for the driver, the Mercedes driver of Mr. Oddbod. 6 pit stops for Cornish. An absolute masterclass of pit stops strategy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mattia Benotto. Ooh.
Anyway, we've got Slinky Maliki right behind Mr. Oddbod.
That crazy
His
fish
tires are
coming
still
up behind
cold.
Oddbod. And that might have potentially compromised his fastest lap attempt because they have to get away for blue flags. But Slinky Maliki's going for the move anyway. We did just see him claw at the wall there. I think he might have been brought up.
Oh, I didn't realize he'd go for the move. They're still side by side. This is for P10. And Oddbod could be getting a penalty for... Oh, wait. Is it Oddbod that could be getting a penalty post-race?
No, I think that was Quirky.
No, you know what? It wasn't
No.
either of these guys. It was Willem, because he passed Stygian. Cornish across the line, puts up best lap of the session. It is a 39.6.
I think Oddbod might not be able to beat that, frankly. Yeah, he might get a slight toe off of Slinky in the straights, but I think he's just going to be compromised in the corners. Slinky's tires are a lot older than his.
And it's the final lap of the race, so guess what? Good news, ladies and gents. No tire glitch for anybody.
Oh, right. Well, thank God. That shows how well we pay attention. We're that enthralled with the racing, we don't know what number it is.
Now we are. Quirky has dropped off a cliff. What has happened? Why has he dropped off so hard?
Has he maybe lost the back end? So that's 4 seconds gone.
Yeah, like at least 4 seconds. He doesn't have a puncture, that much I can tell. Doesn't look like anyone's going to be able to make a move on Quirky, which means his podium is safe. But we move on to Grunty, who has put up an absolute masterclass of a race weekend tonight. Getting pole through the final 2 corners now. He will win for the first time in, I think, quite a while. Across the line, P2 for Crazy Fish. He had a great start to the race, but just couldn't keep up. He'll get P2. P3 for Quirky. Stidgen P4.
Oh, Willem's
P5 for Mega Centurion. Who did? Oh,
Willem's just
Willem
spun
did.
across the
And he
line.
got a 5-second penalty at the end of the race.
That
Added on.
was for speed. I
So,
believe that was
Mega
for speeding under the pit lane that he didn't serve.
That is the case, yes. Cornish getting another 3-second time penalty. Mega Centurion, P5, P6, Jangus Logan. A good day for Williams. They don't put up a great race, but they do put up a good enough race. Willem Verschoor, P7, P8, Locker, P9, Macy Q. Through the final few corners,
It will be P10 for Oddbod.
Mr. Oddbod should get P10. Slinky just didn't have it at the end of this race. An unfortunate day for him. P12, the AI of Really Ethan, and P13, Cornish.
Of course, Cornish will be promoted to P12. With Rui Ethan not actually participating. Doesn't actually make a difference. He still doesn't get points, unfortunately, but, you know.
Driver of the day, according to the game, is Jangus Logan.
Sorry, I just looked at the chat a second. Grunty's put in, and for anyone who thought I left, I never left. The God tier quote from Daniel Ricciardo.
Well, he had a chance to make the championship gap much closer, and tonight he did just that as he gets the win tonight here in the streets of Singapore at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. Once again, your podium: Grunty, Crazy Fish, Quirky Turtle. Fastest lap of the race will go to Cornish. Unfortunately, he's outside the top 10, so he will not get the point for fastest lap. I feel like that's another thing I think we should change, honestly. You know? I feel like even if you're outside the top 10, you should still get the point for fastest lap if you...
Well, yeah,
like
it kind of
11,
defeats the
12 or
purpose
something,
of
you
the
pit.
point.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I feel like it would make things a little interesting for constructors, not so much a drivers' championship. I don't know how much they would affect that, but for constructors, it would definitely make some interesting. You definitely see some drivers pitting like 2 to go just to get their team a point, even if because maybe they wouldn't get a point beforehand.
For those who thought I left, I never left. I just decided for a while.
Perfect.
I had to.
As a McLaren fan, that hits home.
Thought it would. We all here? We're all here?
So we all here? We are all here. So good, 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 good. All right. So was it Quirky P3? Quirky Turtle. You finished P3 tonight. How are you feeling after that race? That would be Hib, yep. heading into next week, we will be going to the streets of Baku for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. How do you feel heading into that track? Two. Baku and Miami.
But you have to remember, Baku is a sprint.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you for the interview. Great race, Quirky. Best of luck to you for the rest of this season. Next man up, the driver who finished P2, the Red Bull of Crazy Fish. How are you feeling tonight after getting P2?
Yeah, pretty good. 4 podiums in a row, so can't complain about that. Yeah, Grunt was just quicker than me today.
I was about to say that to start this race, you actually did pretty well to hold off Grunty, but after about 12, 13 laps, he had caught you, and then he kind of just ran off with it. Was it something that he did better, something you messed up on? What happened there?
I didn't see him coming when he went for the overtake, if I'm honest. But yeah, there was really the second safety car kind of screwed me over because I got stuck behind one of the Mercedes who was on hard tires, and Grunt at that point had the gap, and there was no way to close the gap. And then I had gotten 2 corner cut warnings, so it was just trying to not get a third one. So I couldn't really push to close the gap anymore.
Okay, fair enough. Next week we'll be going to Baku. How are you feeling heading into that track?
Not my favorite track, to be honest, but we'll see. 4 podiums in a row, and it's a street track, and we've had a few street tracks the last few races. Yeah, wait and see. Anything can happen.
That it can. Great race, and thank you for the interview, Crazy Fish. On to our race winner, the man, the myth, the legend, Grunty. How are you feeling after this win, man?
Oh, amazing, mate. Top of the world. Never felt better.
After the... Oh, sorry. Continue.
Go on, no, you're right, go on.
Okay. So the first 3 races of this season, you completely dominated, winning all of them, including the sprint at Spa, and you had just about half the division, maybe more, begging for you to be moved up. And since then, it's been kind of quiet from you. What happened?
I think the first few races was just really strong for me. I just really liked them. Have generally been quick in them tracks, and then obviously those other tracks went on. I think it's been a mixture of luck, strategy, and just little mistakes, which can cost quite a lot. Not pitting under a safety car. There's been a few of them, or spinning, or being an instance with other people. It's just difficult, to keep that momentum up, especially when you're on such a high. It's great, but as soon as you have a few bad races, it sort of really reflects on the rest of the season. It's kind of done that, and I've just been where I've been super busy in life. I just haven't had the chance to practice as much as I wanted to, really. But now we're getting to the point at the end of the season. I mean, I'm still not doing loads of practice, but I just feel like the tracks coming up. I love this Singapore. I love Baku, Miami. Obviously, no one has any idea what they feel about Miami. It's a flipping new track in it. So, yeah, just did basically everything I could today to pull some points back.
Okay, well, great race from you. I wish you the best of luck for the rest of this season. You're only 40 points back now on Stygian. How are you feeling about catching up to that?
I'd like to get as close as possible. I mean, I want to make it as exciting as possible. I don't think Stidgen's here for the next 2 races, unless he's cancelled his plans to go travelling. But to my knowledge, that he's not here. So, my thought is obviously 3 races left. In a sense, obviously with the sprint, 2 technically, 40 points up for grabs. You know, if I get 1 win in one of the races, that's 25 points. That brings it down to 15. Then that's some points in the sprint and then like a 4th place or something. So it is possible, very much possible, to win this championship if Stidgen isn't racing. If he is, obviously, then it'd be extremely difficult. You'll have to DNF some races. But I'm hoping, you know, fingers crossed, I could do my best and get up there and, you know, make it exciting. You know, last sort of race scenario kind of thing. Like, I'd love to have that kind of thing. It's nice to be in a championship fight, especially with Stidgen. He's a clean driver. We've had battles in the season, which is nice. Not many, but we've had battles. But it's nice to, you know. I mean, I kind of, like, weirdly enough, prefer it to be like a 4-man championship or a 3-man championship, because it just makes it even more exciting. There's more people involved. But no, I'm looking forward to the next few races.
All right, well, a great race from you, Grunty. Congratulations on the win.
Thanks, mate.
Like I said, best of luck, and thank you for the interview. That'll do it from me, folks. I've been your host, the American voice of RSF1, Days Freak, alongside my co-commentator, Jedi Gamer. Thank you, and good night.
Bye.